Welcome to the Professor English podcast, where we don't just talk about English, we practice English while focusing on listening comprehension, fluency, and accuracy. My name is Ryan, and I am your host today, and we are going to practice a very special way to use go that you might not have noticed before, but it is very common and very useful. Before we jump in, I want to remind you that if you prefer a little visual help, you can find this podcast in video form on my YouTube channel, Professor English ESL Class. All right, let's dive in. You already know the basic meaning of the word go, but did you know that there are other, less obvious ways to use the word go? Today, we are going to practice one of those uses. Today, we will use go to talk about the correct location of a thing. Imagine that you help your friend move furniture to a new house. You don't know where she wants you to put a table, which room. How will you ask her where to put the table? Maybe you thought of asking her, "Where do I put the table?" Or, "Where do you want the table to be?" She answers, "The table goes in the living room." She says it like this, "The table goes in the living room," because she decided that is the correct location for the table. The table goes in the living room. Can you repeat that sentence? The table goes in the living room. How would you ask a basic yes/no question with that sentence? A question where the answer is either yes or no. Does the table go in the living room? Does the table go in the living room? That's right. Super job. Does the table go in the living room? You ask the question like this because it's not your new house and you don't know the correct location of the table. Only she knows the correct location of the table because it is her new house. How would your friend answer no to that question? How would she say, "No, the living room is not the correct location"? No, the table doesn't go in the living room. No, the table doesn't go. No, the table doesn't go in the living room. The table doesn't go in the living room. All right, great job. How would she say the correct location is in the dining room? The table goes in the dining room. The table goes in the dining room. Fantastic. Now, let's say the two sentences together, the negative and the new location. The table doesn't go in the living room, the table goes in the dining room. The table doesn't go in the living room, the table goes in the dining room. All right, amazing job. Keep up the good work. Now, let's try another example. Imagine you are writing information on a form. Each box on the form only has numbers. You want to know which box to put your name. How would you ask where the correct location or box for your first name is? Where does my first name go? Where does my first name go? Box 1, box 2? Where should I put my first name? What is the correct place for my first name? Where does my first name go? Where does my first name go? How would someone answer that the correct location for your first name is in box 1? Your first name goes in box 1. Your first name goes in box 1. Your first name goes in box 1. Super duper job. Can you make a yes/no question with that sentence? A question where the answer is either yes or no? Does my first name go in box 1? Does my first name go in box 1? Does my first name go in box 1? Easy peasy. Now, let's answer no. A full negative sentence. No, your first name doesn't go in box 1. No, your first name doesn't go in box 1. Great. Now let's say the correct location for the first name is box 2. Your first name goes in box 2. Your first name goes in box 2. Great job. Now let's put the two sentences together. The first name doesn't go in box 1. Your first name goes in box 2. No, your first name doesn't go in box 1. Your first name goes in box 2. No, your first name doesn't go in box 1. Your first name goes in box 2. No, your first name doesn't go in box 1. Your first name goes in box 2. No, your first name doesn't go in box 1. Your first name goes in box 2. All right, let's try another situation, but before we do, I want to remind you, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so that you don't miss more helpful exercises to help you improve your English. And if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, remember to hit the like button. It really helps to support my channel and lets me know that you want to see more videos just like this one. Now, let's move on to another situation. You help your friend go grocery shopping, and now you are at his house in the kitchen, and you take an item out of the bag, let's say a box of cereal. You don't know where he normally puts the cereal. How would you ask, where is the correct location for the cereal? Where does the cereal go? Where does the cereal go? Where does the cereal go? Fantastic job. He doesn't hear you, so you put the cereal in the pantry. He sees you do this. How does he say the pantry is not the correct location for the cereal? The cereal doesn't go in the pantry. The cereal doesn't go in the pantry. The cereal doesn't go in the pantry. Okay, great job. Now ask, where is the correct location for the cereal? Where does the cereal go? Where does the cereal go? Where does the cereal go? How does he answer that the correct location for the cereal is on top of the refrigerator? The cereal goes on top of the refrigerator. The cereal goes on top of the refrigerator. The cereal goes on top of the refrigerator. All right, super duper job. Let's try one more example. Imagine you are sorting files on a computer for a company, and you are not sure if John Smith is a client or a supplier. You have to know if the correct location of the John Smith file is in the client folder or the supplier folder. How would you ask where to put his file? The client folder or the supplier folder? Does the John Smith file go in the client folder or the supplier folder? Does the John Smith file go in the client folder or the supplier folder? All right, great job. Now, how would you answer that the two locations are incorrect? The John Smith file doesn't go in the client folder or the supplier folder. The John Smith file doesn't go in the client folder or the supplier folder. Fantastic. Now, ask a where question. Where is the correct location? Where does the John Smith file go? Where does the John Smith file go? Where does the John Smith file go? What is the correct location? It's not the client folder. It's not the supplier folder. What is the correct location? Where does the John Smith file go? Amazing job. Now, let's say the correct location. Let's say the correct location for the John Smith file is the Human Resources folder. The John Smith file goes in the Human Resources folder. Oh, the John Smith file goes in the Human Resources folder. The John Smith file goes in the Human Resources folder. Wow, you did a great job today! If you had a difficult time forming the correct answer or giving the answer within a short period of time, do the exercise again until you can answer quickly without making any mistakes. This is how you improve your fluency and your accuracy. It was a lot of fun practicing with you today, and I really hope to see you again here soon. So don't forget to subscribe. But until the next time, goodbye.